All right, episode 150, and a good one at that. This is your boy East Coast Trev, and
as always, Steve.
Steve. Just Steve.
Just Steve.
I love it. I love it. Oh, man. What a week, dude. It's been craziness.
Well, you know what's crazy? It just kind of dawned on me when we started this.
What's that?
We've done this for 150 weeks straight without missing a beat.
150 episodes, not a single episode missed, bro. I think that's, and it's one of the successes of podcasts, right? Is the consistency. And we're seeing the consistency on our end, like what it pays off to have that consistent. Like one of the tricks we always talk about is like, you have to be consistent. You can't miss a week. You can't miss 2 weeks. You can't miss a month. Like you have to do this and grind every single week. And it's important, man. I mean, people want to hear, I don't know why, but people want to hear the podcast, right? I mean, it's just the way that it goes, so it is what it is, man. Well, this is a fun one.
Yeah. It's, I'm excited for this. Not only the show, but for the event.
Huntstock is going to be one of those things, and especially watching it develop and grow throughout the years and being there at day one, I think is going to be one of the cool things. And what is to come for Huntstock is going to be really cool. Patrick has done a phenomenal job in building this. I mean, it's kind of crazy because like he kind of came out of nowhere, right? Like Patrick himself with Hunt Suburbia Podcast came out of nowhere. We've had him on before when I was at the Springfield show, but started a podcast and came out running. So it's going to be cool to see what he built. He's got a lot of really good guests. I mean, we're going to be there. So that's most important. No, just kidding.
Yeah, just come see us. We have a lot of really cool swag and giveaways.
So I did, so there's going to be 24 hats at there. So we're going to bring 24 hats. How long they're going to last, I don't know. We're going to have obviously our stickers and some other merch and so on and so forth. But as of right now, working on all these things, and obviously we still have a month, we have a Classic 2 saddle from Latitude. We have a whole entire line, grunt tubes, turkey calls, turkey mouth calls from Nor'easter Game Calls. There's some cool stuff coming from Vital Grounds. There is Bow Hunting Magazine, Zeus Broadheads, and still waiting to hear back from some of the other sponsors. But we're going to have a ton of giveaways. We're going to have to come up with some type of game or something where people can win these things. I don't know what we're going to do. So you guys got to go and get your tickets and use the promo code Outdoor Drive and save yourself some on the tickets. And it's very important that you do a pre-sale on this, because if you don't, you might miss out, because this is a capped event. It's a capped
event, yeah.
So if you don't get your tickets now, you may never get them. I mean, period. You can try and do it at the door, but there's no promises. So the best thing to do is get your tickets ahead of time. And you know what? You could always swing by the booth and come and podcast with us. I mean, that's
what we're going to do.
We're there podcasting, man. We're there all weekend. It's going to be a blast. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody when we get up there. So, dude, I'll tell you this, man. So you sent out some pictures the other day of some really cool deer. I'm actually really excited about that.
Well, I showed a very select group of some of the up-and-comers that we have coming through that property we've been working on. Yeah. And let's just say that the work is paying off.
Yeah.
I've never had 2-year-olds, and one we determine is probably 3, maybe 4. And he's the moose. And then,
he's got that. Okay, that's that one. It's.
And then we got the caribou.
So is that? Are you naming a moose, or like is that?
It's just kind of everyone that's seen it's like, oh, it's like a damn moose paddle.
So crazy story, right? Last year I was at Brockett's place, the taxidermist, Chris Brockett. And not Brackett.
Chris Brackett.
I know. We go over this every fucking time that we talk about this. So Chris Brockett, and a guy had actually brought in one that was very similar to that on one side. Like it was a moose paddle, bro, on one side. Mm-hmm. It was real tall and moose paddle, like straight moose paddle. Palmated. Dude, it's wild. And then the other side is a big fork. But when you had sent out the picture, I was like, bro, no way. That's the second deer that I've seen like that. Like, that's so badass. Like, and I mean, we see deer all the time. I mean, there's 200 and something deer that come through my shop a year, plus the
but to have a full
300 at the
palmated main beam all the way down, and we're not talking like, okay, it's 2 or 3 inches. It's
a straight
6 or 7 inch palmate all the way down the main beam.
Dude, listen,
with
it's
little
literally,
moose tips.
I know that the people at home won't be able to see this, but it's literally equivalent to a moose paddle, where it literally looks like that. It looks
just like that.
And it's why. So like, that's literally when I saw that. That's literally what I thought. Like an actual. This is a moose paddle.
Only got to add more girth between the G2 and G3. It goes up even higher.
It's mind blowing. And literally, dude, I'm not even telling. I'm the one that came into the shop literally had 6 points along the top of it.
And it was just.
So when I saw that, bro, and I didn't even tell you, I was like, I'll wait until the podcast. It's literally what it is, and it's nuts that I've seen 2 of them.
You know what's crazy?
In 2 years.
Even crazier, our neighbor who hunts on the North Carolina side sent me a picture yesterday where he hunts, and he has a palmated buck identical, only it's on the opposite side.
That's wild.
Yeah. So we got a right side palmated. He's got a left side palmated.
How close is that in relevance from where you're getting the pictures to where he's getting pictures? Maybe
3 to 4 miles. So
that's
crazy. It's same genetics. That's what I'm assuming. It's not a car hit. It's not something crazy. It's legitimate genetics.
I was wondering, honestly, like if he was that close. Like, is it the reverse camera? That's all.
That was
some
my
cameras
thought.
do reverse, and then one. You know what I'm saying?
My buck is an 8 on one side.
Okay.
His is only a fork on one side. That's because I thought the same thing. I was like, is that thing ranging that far right now? Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for that other side, I would have swore it was the same deer.
That's nuts. So we both have very good potential deer, man. Yep. I haven't even shared any of mine.
Oh, I know. But it's all right. All I want to know is that spot we found turkey hunting. Is it paying off? Is there anything in there?
So I think I texted you, bro. Did I? I think I sent you the picture.
Oh, you sent me one that said he showed back up, referring to the buck from last year.
Okay,
I don't think you sent me the other.
Okay, so funny story. So I was able to go into that spot where we turkey hunted, and we had found that piece of an antler, or you found that piece of an antler. Went back in and scouted it, and decided, since that has like a river edge to it or a swamp edge where that pinch is down, but it's down, and I went more down in the gully than where we had been walking. Mm-hmm. And I had found a big, huge communal scrape. Set a camera on it, and literally, bro, I'm getting pictures of deer every single morning. Like every single morning.
Beautiful.
So there is one deer in there. I'll show you later. And it makes me believe that piece of antler came from a crab claw with this deer.
See, that was my thought. As much as I would like to think it was a flyer, I'm pretty sure it was a crab claw.
So today I had it with me in the truck because you left it here.
I left it there on purpose. I wanted you to find the damn deer it came off.
So I went to Brockett's today, and obviously he sees as much antler, if not more, than me. And I had said, where do you think this came from a deer? And he's like, did that break off of your mount? And I'm like, no. It didn't break off my mount. I said, where do you think that this came from on a deer? He seems to think that it came off of a flyer, and still believes that it came off of a flyer, for the reason being that a main beam is, especially on a caliber of that deer, would be a lot thicker on the main beam. And I agree with that, but then I also disagree after getting the pictures that I had gotten, and thinking that it actually comes from a crab claw. So we'll see what happens, man. And with all of, our early season series podcasts, those ones that we had done and stuff, and putting all that to actual work, like, dude, it feels like November to me. Like, my cameras are going insane, and all mine are obviously public land. So to have these deer, and I can't do minerals and I can't do food and this, that, and the other thing, to have deer and good deer hitting scrapes in July and June, it's mind-blowing to me. And I'm getting very excited, but I shouldn't, because we won't know until breakdown. But if these deer keep patterning the way they do,
you got a chance.
One of my goals,
buck.
I mean, dude, it's been my goal for a very long time to shoot a good caliber deer early season. I want to shoot a big deer early season so bad, bro. And it's only for the simple fact of they have that real thin coat and they look real clean, and you can have a mount that shows all the vein structures and muscle structures. Like, it's always been a huge thing of mine. So this might potentially be that year. There's definitely a lot of good shooters around, and just hope that somebody sticks around, man. I mean, that's all we can hope for.
As soon as we started walking through that, there was nothing in my mind that told me you shouldn't be there. Everything. I mean, you remember it. We're walking through. Go, hey.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a normal piece of public where you have to hike to find it and get into. It's like, no, it had everything right there.
Yeah, I just hope that the pressure, I mean, I didn't see any human pressure in there, but we'll see what happens.
I just hate that you had to go all the way to the north of the state to find it.
Right. We'll see what happens, man. I don't want to get too much of my hopes up, because, I mean, I still have 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 more cameras to put out before this is all said and done.
Right.
I mean, I only have 4 out right now, and I kind of slacked on it. My e-bike, funny story. So my good buddy, Caddy Cowboy, he had 2 e-bikes, and he blessed me with one of them to be able to use for the season and try him out, kind of like I don't even know, just good friend, right? Doing good things.
Put him out and tell me what you think.
Dude, honestly, it's one of the scariest things I've ever been on in my life. Dude, they do like 35 miles an hour. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you need to be doing through the woods.
Bro, it is insane. Like, insane. Like, so the tube had popped on it, and I had to bring it down to the bike shop, a good friend of his, to go and have it checked out and everything like that. And then I had rode it. So I had rode it 1.5 miles on the road, like around my neighborhood, kind of, and just to like kind of check things out. And I was like, screw it, dude. You know how far my parents' house is from my house?
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, I'm going to ride the bike from my house to my parents' house. I got within like a 1/16 of a mile of my parents' house, and the tire came off. So I guess on the big Maxxis tires, if you ride them low, they build up memory on the walls with those big wide tires. Yep. And literally it came out of the bead. So I'm riding in, I just feel, and I thought I was going to die. Like, it was, and the thing's doing 25 miles an hour. And I'm like, So it's in the bike shop right now, but I'm super excited. I think it's going to be, one of those tools in some areas and some accesses where it's really going to help me. Because some of the public land that I hunt has big logging roads and be able to get on into. And I'm really looking forward to it come, September, October, when I get the chance to go down to Maryland again and hunt with Sean, because down there is all flat. Yeah. And there's like so many roads and stuff. So it's going to be cool. Just to have a different tool. I haven't really messed around with it too much, but I think it's going to be a really good tool. I'm going to bring it to Huntstock with me.
I don't blame you.
We have something to play around on, right?
Hey, you need to run back to the truck. Go.
Exactly. So it's just cool, man. Something a little bit different, but it's all good. It's all good.
Outstanding.
But fishing's been phenomenal.
Yeah,
Big fish have started to show up. It.
Holy crap, dude. Dude. I've seen the video, and, I'm doing my thing with it and whatnot, but we haven't even discussed it really, other than a couple quick group chats. So how'd it go? So this is trip number 2. I didn't really talk about trip number 1, but trip number 2. So trip number 1, we ended up killing a medium and a small, which we were actually out commercial fishing. We ended up killing a medium and a small. First trip of the year. I was with a good buddy of mine, Mike Bodzwinski, and another good buddy, Bill Stratton, and just been blessed with the opportunity to fish with Mike numerous times every single year. And, it's one of those things when you're commercial tuna fishing, like, you kind of got to know somebody, right? Like, you can't just, like,
dude, you're not going to hire somebody. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, it's one of those things, and just been blessed on fish with them. So last 2 weeks ago, we ended up killing a medium and a small. And then this week, we went back out and on Sunday, and mind you, these trips, dude, we leave at like 12 o'clock at night. So we leave 12 o'clock at night, Saturday night. So it's actually Sunday morning. We drive all the way up to the Cape, fish all day long, and we don't get home until midnight or 1 o'clock on Monday morning. So it's literally a 24-hour thing where you're up all night long. So we got up there probably like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and we headed out. At first, there was a ton of fish breaking, but just couldn't get on them. Then we had heard on the radio there was like a lot of little fish, which little fish, 60, 50, 60, 70 inches, which aren't little fish. Like, they're fun to catch, but not what we're after. And a commercial fish is 73 plus. So we said, screw it, let's go. So a good buddy of ours had killed like a 86 incher or 90 something incher. So we're like, screw it. We got his numbers, headed out there, started fishing. Literally, dude, as soon as we stopped the boat, we started marking. It was insane. We couldn't even get one rod out. The first rod goes off. Now we're in tow with a good fish, right? We thought it was a real big fish. Wasn't. It ended up being like mid 60s. And I mean, dude, it takes a long time. It takes a long time, right? So then we set the rod out again. Now we get the first rod out, and the next fish, we're fighting this one for quite some time, thinking that it's a real big fish, 70 inches. Caught another small one after. Now, mind you, we've only been able to get one rod out. We normally have 3, and we're live lining mackerel. We ended up going 5 for 6. The 6 fish that we ended up breaking off was definitely a commercial truck fish. Like, was a selling fish. Yeah, and
when that line snapped in the video, dude, I was like, oh. Like, I want to put that on him. I want to put that clip of it snapping in both of your reactions. I was like, that is so perfect, but it's not acceptable by most.
No, it is acceptable because that's reality of it. Like, people need to see that. No, 100%. I think that should be used in some type of a video. But that was a hook pull, bro. There's nothing we can do. Yeah. We're in full strike, 30 pounds of drag. Like, there's nothing we can do. And we've been fighting this fish now for a good amount of time. And he ends up pinwheeling underneath the boat, and we could see him chunker, dude, real good fish. And we just put the heat to him, and it is what it is. I mean, the rod's almost touching the water, big fish, and like it just snaps back, and it's over. You know, like, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. But it was a good fish, anyways, and it was cool and fun, and I can't wait to go back, dude. The bite was just out of control. Now, mind you, so. On one side of us, and this is in none of the videos, one side of us is Hot Tuna, TJ from Wicked Tuna. Yeah. On the other side of us is Fat Tuna. So we have 2 guys from Wicked Tuna. So we're fishing. I mean, dude, that's where we're fishing. Like, we're fishing side by side with these guys. Like, that's where we fish. Like, we're commercial fishing just like the guys that are on TV, like in the same exact areas. We're on the radio talking to them. They're normal dudes. Like, they're catching fish too. Like, neither of those guys caught commercial fish. There was multiple fish caught that were from like 75 to, there was a 98 that was caught, 100 incher that was caught.
Yeah, I heard that come over the radio.
Yeah, there was a ton of good fish that were caught. I mean, you just got to be that lucky one, man. But probably one of the sickest bites I've ever seen. It was nuts, dude. It was insane.
Yeah, like, your play
I've been a bunch.
Your play-by-play through the day was driving us nuts. Hey man, we're 3 for 4. We're 4 for 5. We're 5 for 6. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, man. And a lot of those times when you're on those fish, like, it's an hour and a half before the tide stops, through the stop of the tide, like slack tide, and then an hour and a half after slack tide. So things are fire, right? And then the tide kicks up, and especially with the moons. So the tide's flying. So we are racing. It's wind with tide at that point. The fish started to shut down. We ran in to like the 70-foot range because we're fishing at about 130. We run in and literally got onto bait in 70 feet of water, and then went back out probably 2.5 hours before slack, fished all the way through and didn't get a mark for the rest of the tide. And then we came home. Yeah, it was nuts, dude. It was fire for that little period of time, and then things just died off. But hey, that's fishing, dude. It was incredible to catch those fish. We should have killed one and brought one home, but we weren't there for that. We were there for giants, and we were there to put one on the truck, and it is what it is. It's definitely a good thing. So,
but you gotta fight that fight. And let's face it, at the end of the day,
dude,
bringing the fish in, landing it, take it to a truck's cool. But fighting that fight, I can only imagine, dude. When I sit and watch you guys on the video and you're switching out over and over, it's like, y'all are worn out.
And to paint the picture, like I had said, I mean, you're in it for 24 hours, bro. So like you've been up since midnight. It's 10 in the morning. You've been up for 10 hours. You're tired as all hell. And then you get on a rod, and like it's inch by inch by inch. Like and when they take off, they're taking a lot of line, and then you're back to an inch by an inch by an inch by an inch. You got them up,
and you watch your swivel come through, and it hits the reel, and you're like, oh yeah, you see the fish in the water. You see him lean over with the hook and the gaff, and then you just see, it's like, that sucks.
There's no control at that point, man. No control. But no, it was a good time, man. Really looking forward to releasing out some videos and kind of showing everybody kind of what it is. I was finally able to get some type of video footage. It's so tough. It's so exhilarating, man. Yeah. And there's so much shit going on in the boat at that point. Like it's tough to get video footage. That's one thing
I have when I'm looking at it, when you send it to me, it's like, man, I wish it's like, how are they going to do? It's like all four of these dudes are involved. No one can hold the camera. There's no one there to film it. So it's like what you get is what you get. And you did a phenomenal job.
I think the only thing that could make it a little bit better is if I put a GoPro next time. But I mean, and I tried, but I mean, it would be fine in having that GoPro. So I'll probably have a GoPro next time and then the DJI and just roll with it. Whatever it comes out. But
either way,
we'll see.
It's going to make some fun little videos. I'll tell you that.
Well, the good thing is looking back on the footage, like I didn't get anything of a tuna except for one time. There was tuna he was spinning at the top of the water. When Mike gets on the rod, I had set up the camera. I had moved it out of the
rolled. Yeah.
I had it set in one of the rod holders, and then I moved it up onto the post next to him, and I never hit record. Bro, we had that thing spiraling at the side of the boat. Dude, it was wild. Like, and it would have been perfect footage, but I didn't hit record. And listen, happens, dude, we're trying to make money. We're commercial fishing, and there's just
first, dude, it's fuck.
Bro, it's wild. Yeah. I mean, it's unexplainable wild, but it is what it is. Let's get to the sponsors. Let's get this show. I got pumped up. I'm sorry. I kind of taking you guys around a wild ride, but talking about it, and we talk about it all the time. Like, I don't like talking fishing, but when you get me fired up like something like this is where I just get wild, because it's what I live for, man. I love it, and I'm so blessed with the opportunity to be able to go and do that with those guys, because it's not something that happens with a lot of people. So, all right, we are presented by Huntworth, huntworthgear.com. If you guys haven't checked them out already, probably should. Hunting season is around the corner. Their early season stuff is phenomenal. Probably one of the best gear that we've ever been in thus far. Really looking forward to killing a big buck in Huntworth gear this year. Bow Fishing Magazine, bowfishingmagazine.com. You guys, like I say every week, get on over there, check it out. Virtual online magazine. We are fixing to get a date in the book and go and shoot fish with Nick Sampson before this is all said and done, so you guys can check out exactly what's going on. Nor'easter Game Calls, nor'eastergamecalls.com. The Jurassic series is built. The Sitka calls for you guys that are Sitka hunters, they are built. They are on the website. It is a minimum order. There's not a lot of them on the website, so if you guys are going to go and do it, go and check them out now. Little pricey, but totally worth it. That mammoth ivory is where it needs to be. You guys have all been glocking, whatever.
We've been chip dipping
over over these Mammoth Ivory Jurassic series. So go and check them out. And there's some of the other ones, the Evo series on there too. So nor'eastergamecalls.com. And the people that we believe in, the family of the podcast, Latitude Outdoors, latitudeoutdoors.com. Use the promo code OD for 25% off of Latitude gear.
And that is limited.
Very limited. It's only going to run until the end of the month, guys. It's just a big sale that they're doing for the supporters of the podcast. So the code is capital O, capital D, and it'll get you 25% off of Latitude saddles. Zeus Broadheads is their home is newairarchery.com, the home of the B16, home of the Zeus Broadheads, the Aries, Steady Form, our man, Mr. Nick Albanese, just absolutely killing it over there. The new, there is going to be a new release of a new broadhead called the Hera. Really excited for that.
The wife of Zeus.
The wife of Zeus. Is it actually the wife of Zeus?
Hera is the wife of Zeus.
Well, she's a mean bitch. I promise you that. I seen her, and she is mean, bub. Let me let you know that. So go ahead and check that guys out over at newairarchery.com. The Zeus Broadhead is still on sale. Not the $39.99, but still on sale. So go and check that out. And last but not least, Mr. Matt from Vital Grounds Outdoors. Guys, this is the time of year that you should be building your climb, whether it's a rope mod, daisy chain, aiders, swaders, naders, you name it, he makes it. Go and check him out. Vital Grounds Outdoors. Always got sales going on, so check him out on social media and keep up with what's going on. Really looking forward to the stuff that he's building for this season.
And if you guys,
what was the thing that you guys were messing with?
So I was just going to say that is he's got something coming, and I'm not going to get too far.
Is it released yet?
If you've seen the short, I believe he's releasing it this week, called the Stick Clip. So if you've ever had issues getting your sticks up a tree, especially saddle hunting, he has alleviated this problem. I mean, this thing is so perfect, and the price point is stupid. If you don't do it, you're almost nuts. Like, I got him, and it was like, this is genius.
So I had used S carabiners, and then I tie a little tiny rope on there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
This simplifies it so much easier. It's just
That's cool.
Less hardware. I mean, he did a great job designing this. That's all I'm going to say until he does official release.
All of this stuff, man, is just so perfected to where it is. I mean, he's just a mastermind when it comes to it. Well, yeah, check those guys out. If you guys haven't been over to theoutdoordrive.com, I don't know. I mean, I know some of the listeners are on social media or follow us on social media, but if you don't, theoutdoordrive.com, guys, is the place where we have all of our podcast episodes are all listed on there. Our merch, we have a ton of new merch. Steven has done a phenomenal job in designing new logos, and those will be put back onto pieces of merch for you guys to kind of check out and buy. There's stickers on there, hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts. If there's something that you guys want, just send us a message, man. I can make anything on there and get you any type of special thing that you guys are kind of thinking. If you want a beanie, if you want a koozie, if you want that, just let me know, man. Be more than willing to build you guys whatever you want. So go and check that out at theoutdoordrive.com. We've put a ton of work and effort into that website. And just support the podcast a little bit more. And for you guys, real quick, if you guys are listening to us on iTunes, give us a 5-star review and just help out the podcast. Share something, make it in your story on Instagram. Just spread the love just a little bit. Tell your friends about us. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us and keeps us motivated to kind of moving forward. So,
and that's not saying we're not getting that. And for those that do, we greatly appreciate it.
100%. Those guys that Steven's correct. The guys that do it, it's an incredible family. But we want to have more people in the family and just be part of it, man. That's all.
All right.
So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we should get into a little bit of some of the crazy chaos news that's going on in the world. And
oh yeah, right. Great.
Let's just.
We're almost back to wearing masks again. Go ahead. Sorry.
You're good, man. Let's just let this one roll. bringing you the news for the cruise is our good buddy Mike Salter. Take it away, Mike.
Hey everyone, we're going to start this one off in Vermont, where several hunting and trapping laws have passed. The retrieval and use of game and fur-bearing animals by hunters and trappers are now required with some exceptions. This will apply to moose, deer, bear, turkeys, gray squirrels, cottontail rabbits, and snowshoe hares, game birds, crows, and fur bearers. All animals must be processed as food, fur, hide, or feathers, or used for taxidermy. The law does not apply to coyotes. Exceptions include animals unfit for consumption, theft, loss to another wild animal, lack of access because of posting, defense of a person or property, and animals that are sick or diseased. Also, coyote hunting with dogs and training dogs to hunt coyotes is temporarily banned as of July 1st of this year. Hunters will only be able to pursue and take coyotes with dogs if they are on their own property or acting in defense of a person or property, or if they have signed permission from a landowner who has a legitimate defense of persons or property on their property. The moratorium will last until the board puts rules in place for requiring permits, which is a lengthy process, involves public involvement and all that. So more to come on those rules. Updating trapping practices will also be recommended by the board to revise current regulations, and those are expected for 2023 trapping season at the earliest. On the good side, House Bill 570 has been signed, which will allow the use of hunting with suppressors in Vermont. New Hampshire has also passed a House Bill 500, legalizing hunting with suppressors, making these the 39th and 40th states to do so, allowing hunting with suppressors. If you are interested in hunting with suppressors in Vermont, the American Suppressor Association will be holding a demonstration to hear, see, and try suppressors at the Bear Fish and Game Club on August 6th from 2 to 6 p.m. Also, Vermont will now be offering some opportunities for anglers. The Fish and Wildlife Department is offering a fish with a warden. These sessions are where anglers can ask questions of the wardens, get fishing tips, etc. Each session is open to 30 participants with pre-registration. The sessions will be 1 hour, and participants will need to bring their own fishing equipment. The state park daily use fee will be waived for registered participants. And a list of dates, times, locations, and pre-registration information can be found at www.register-ed.com/programs/vermont/256-let-s-go-fishing. Now to Nebraska, where various deer and antelope permits are open for purchase. The unlimited quota deer and antelope permits open July 11th for residents, non-residents, and eligible landowners. As of July 12th, residents could begin purchasing limited quota deer permits. As of July 13th, limited antelope permits are open for residents. July 25th, limited deer permits are open for non-residents. July 26th, limited antelope opens for non-residents. August 1st, residents and non-residents can purchase remaining draw unit deer permits. And August 2nd, residents, non-residents, and eligible landowners can purchase remaining draw unit antelope permits. Now to Utah, where if you didn't draw a buck deer or a bull elk permit, some additional opportunities are available for you there. For elk permits, general season archery elk for adults and youth opened on 7/12. General season any bull elk permits for adults and youth will be available starting July 14th. General season spike bull elk permits for youth and adults will be available as of July 26th. And for deer permits, general season buck permits will be available as of July 19th. Youth general season archery deer permits will also be available starting July 19th. And limited entry buck, deer, pronghorn, and over-the-counter bison permits opened July 12th. All these permits are first come, first serve, so get them before they are gone. Lastly, to Pennsylvania, where Jeremy Guyette was bow fishing and arrowed a pending world record butterfly ray. The massive ray is over 7 feet wide and 222.54 pounds, which if certified would top the current record of 222.1 pounds, which was aired in 2021. So congratulations to Jeremy on a giant Ray, and hopefully that is certified. So, as always, if you have any news to send to me, it's greatly appreciated. You can reach out to me at Mike Salter on Facebook or bearded_bowhunter21 on Instagram. And with that, enjoy the rest of your ride.
Mr. Mike Salter. Thanks again, buddy. As always, every single week, keeping it real, and keeping it live.
Well,
Thank you,
every
Mike.
week we don't mess him up.
Well, that's true. That's true. That does happen a lot. If you guys want to send Mike some news for your cruise, get a hold of him either on Instagram, Facebook, or send us a message. We'll get you in contact with Mr. Mike Salter himself. So, well, why don't we kind of kick it back to like 1969 and let's get on over to Huntstock.
Definitely. Let's let everyone know what this is about.
That was Woodstock.
Less fires, less burning, man.
No promises.
Hopefully. All right, here we go.
All right, welcome back. And I want to welcome on Patrick from Hunt Suburbia. What's up, man? And, well, AKA Huntstock.
What's going on, man? Yeah, we a lot of hats, dude. Hunt Suburbia, Huntstock. Hopefully, those are the only two hats for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I was going to say
it was
both
Donald
of them are
Trump's.
pretty loaded up.
Yeah, it's
And
a lot of work.
it started as Donald Trump socks.
Yeah, that's a little known fact. Yeah, the company that I use for my podcast, LLC, was started to sell socks that I call troll socks, and we had Donald Trump faces on them. We had Game of Thrones faces on them, and a bunch of shit. But the Donald Trump socks like carried everything. Like we sold a lot of Donald Trump socks.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Patrick he's the man when it comes to all that, right?
I like to have a unique idea. For me, like it all kind of starts with if you're going to start something, you got to do something differently. And there's a million sock brands out there and a million people created sock brands and lifestyle sock companies. And, it's kind of an easy, you have a manufacturing price and then you set, your retail price, and then all that money in between you have to play with on marketing and figure out how to sell the socks for the most profitability, right? You could spend $18 to market one pair of socks and sell it for 20. And if it costs $2, then you break even on it. And then you just learn going back from that. And yeah, with the socks, it was all right, what can I do differently? And so for those who have never seen it, I'm sure some people listening probably have a pair of these socks because they went pretty viral around the Trump era. But you look down at your feet and faces are looking back at you. So it's Donald Trump's face looking up at you, smiling on the tops of your feet. The bottoms have a different face where he's got doing something else. If you showed the soles of your feet, and around your toe was hair that actually, kept your toes warm. But it was something completely unique and different. And that's what helped it go viral. And that's what I'm trying to do with Huntstock too, is just be different.
Well, the sock man is coming out. You are now the sock man, Patrick.
Oh man, that was fun.
Well, why don't we turn this key, man, get this thing underway? Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Yeah, Pat Guyette, and I'm from Vermont. I always say I'm from Vermont. That's where I was born and raised, but I live in Massachusetts now. And I do a lot of things, but the podcast, Hunt Suburbia Podcast and Huntstock, have been my two babies over the last couple of years, that are side hustles, but hopefully will turn into, a main job and a main just lifestyle that I can advance. So I've got the podcast going. It's mainly about hunting suburbs. I've been on your podcast once back at the Springfield Sportsman Show.
Mm-hmm.
So people may have heard a little bit about it, but it's hunting suburbs, mixing in big woods bucks, big woods buck hunting and tracking and stuff. Cause I love talking to, those type of hunters. And that's kind of how I grew up and got into hunting, is hunting in big woods in Vermont. So it's a little mix of everything. And yeah, then Huntstock is just, it's a 3-day festival. With a bunch of badass entertainment going on. We've got you guys coming out along with 6 other podcasts, doing live podcasting from both your booths and from stages. We're going to have 2 different stages at Huntstock set up with nonstop entertainment from 12 o'clock on Friday until 5 p.m. on Sunday, just 3 days, 2 stages. The 7 podcasts, we've got seminars going on with a wide variety of different seminars, from turkey hunting and calling tactics to moose and bear hunting. Obviously a lot of deer, a lot of tracking stuff, a lot of suburban bow hunting stuff. And besides that, we've got the 3D archery course going on that Easton is the title sponsor of. Easton and Delta McKenzie stepped up and they're believing in the event. So we've got some great targets. And this Sunday I'm going to kind of we have 4 or 5 target locations that we have to finalize. So going to the farm to do that. So that should be a really fun 20 target course for people who want to shoot. And then we have like 20 grand worth of door prizes that we're just giving away to people. So like really cool stuff, all the way from an e-bike, from a newcomer in the industry called Exprit. They're donating an e-bike, $2,400 value. We've got Woodman Arms, muzzleloader being given away, a bunch of different types of bows. Like we got a Hoyt bow guaranteed. We've got an Elite Archery fully loaded bow guaranteed. Some booths are also doing their own giveaways with bows and stuff too. So just the Huntstock official door prizes aren't the only way you're going to be able to win stuff. It's a lot of guys are doing their own giveaways at booths too. But First Light, $520 First Light kits. We got 3 of those, with a bib and a jacket. And First Light makes awesome gear. Onyx Elite memberships. Vortex donated some binoculars and rangefinders. A whole bunch of stuff, man. I'm super excited about giving back to the hunting community, and everybody who enters gets a door prize ticket for each day they come, and you have a chance at $20,000 worth of sweet door prizes. So super excited
awesome,
about it,
man. Well, let's take it back a little bit. Why don't you tell us kind of like how it actually came to fruition, and kind of like what was your dream, and what has come along since then?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a long journey for it to come to fruition, but I've been thinking about this for about 2 years, and it did start from looking at what Total Archery Challenge is doing, and they do an awesome job. And they build the preeminent 3D course in the country and turned it into an event, and they do a great job there. They build 5 courses sometimes at their events with hundreds of targets. I don't want to, like I said, always want to do something different. Like I wouldn't want to try to come in and compete with them. And also just it sounds like a crazy amount of physical work that I wouldn't want to like figure out the logistics for to build that many courses. So it started out looking at that industry, seeing it like really take off and people are loving it. And then just wanting to do something along that lines, but in a different, with the focus is around the festival, around the expo, around the camaraderie and the hub there of all of us hunters coming together, sharing stories, meeting new people, kind of networking. And so build around that hub and have the 3D component still there. But anybody listening, like, don't think you're going to show up and get a, TAC level 3D archery course. That's not what it is. Maybe eventually that'll improve year over year, the course part of it. But the 3D course is like secondary to the festival hub and that whole atmosphere. But so I've been thinking about that for a few years, and hearing from a bunch of people in the Northeast about just how they feel like some of the shows that have been happening have kind of been, declining over the years. And I was just running these ideas by them, and everyone was encouraging me to do it. And I have a background in events. I've been working my whole career since college in the event space and the sponsorship space. So kind of like taking all of that knowledge and experience that I've had in my entire career, last 12 years, and then combining it with my passion for hunting, have a little small base with the podcast built up. I think it was just like a logical thing to like, let's just do it. And I like to jump into like, if you have an idea, you just gotta fucking do it. You can't sit there and think of any excuses why not to. You have to do it. So like, as soon as I got the encouragement, the farmer actually reached out to me too. He's like, hey, I heard you talking about it on the podcast. I got a farm I think would be good for this event. I met with them like that weekend after I left there and met with them. I was like, all right, I'm doing this. And started the company. Yep. Formed the LLC, did all the paperwork you have to do. And then just like announced it. Like I said, just put it out there. And if you build it, people will come. And like the amount of momentum and feedback I've been getting so far is it's tremendous. And I can't wait for it.
I think the hunting community itself in the show world in New England really needs something like that, because I think a lot of the shows that we've had, I mean, locally here, even in Connecticut, like we have those sportsman shows that were here and they kind of went to the wayside. And there may be older people that had kind of put them on and don't have the network or the connections like they had before, because now they've totally changed from what they were to what they are now. I mean, us younger generation have them media wise on social media and stuff like that. So you start to see those shows start to go down. And that's where I kind of got really excited, like a real show in New England. Like, I mean, you know, like the Springfield show. I mean, it's just slowly starting to diminish, and it's sad because guys like us that are in that industry and really want to be part of it and do things for our local communities, we're losing it at those shows.
Yeah. And that show, that show is a mega show. Even like I had gone to it years past, but I was there this year, and it was big comparatively to anything that I've been to, but I haven't been in that world for decades, but yeah, it's a theme that I've heard. And look, the industry changes constantly, and what used to be people were excited about turning on the outdoor channel and watching guys sitting over food plots or maybe even high fence and just shooting giant deer from a stand or a box, and that was the cool content that people were consuming and aspiring to. Now it's not anymore. You've got the Just Hunt Club, who will be at Huntstock, doing awesome stuff. Big Woods Bucks doing awesome stuff, like real hunting, real getting out, grinding it out, self-filming, no giant company, over the top telling you what to do, and got 40 guys working on one thing that you only need you and your buddies to be able to do. That's the real content people like now. And so like, as that landscape shifts and changes, you're naturally going to get I think the expo and the sportsman shows will need to shift with that too. And I think a lot of the shows were kind of hanging on to those old school, the TV guys, and getting them to speak on seminars and stuff. But what we need are what the younger generation is viewing and consuming and now, and that's podcasts and that's YouTubers and like those are, I honestly, people talk about industry names and I have no idea who they're talking about. Like they'll bring up like who are the hot chicks in the industry that were on TV for years, right? Oh, you haven't heard of her and her? I'm like, no, dude, I don't know who that is. I know Hunting Public. I know Just Hunt Club. I know Rhode Island Whitetails. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like all the video stuff I consume is on YouTube. So that's like getting all of those guys to come here into one spot. And there are a few pages that aren't going to be there, but again, this is the first year and it's going to grow. But I want all the Northeastern guys to be in one spot, meeting their fans, doing giveaways, selling their merch, and then giving seminars instead of getting those old school guys, because we want the younger generation to be a part of Huntstock, and it's really, I think, gonna shoot some lifeblood into the industry.
I think it's what it needs, honestly, and I think I just get so excited about it, honestly, because it's a different style, it's a different show, it's a different vibe, it's a different feel, and it's what needs to happen in the Northeast. I mean, like we aren't the Midwest, right? We're not the ag hunting guys. We're the big woods hunting, normal deer. And it's something that, that hasn't really been put on the map yet, or it's starting to, like that public land, big woods hunting, and guys are really starting to drive themselves to it.
Totally. And it's like the Northeast has the Northeast in particular just has like so much variety to what you can do hunting wise. And, you know, from big woods tracking to big woods stand hunting to big woods still hunting, all the way down to the suburban bow hunting that I've been doing recently. And, you know, there's a big traditional archery contingent in the Northeast. And it's just like, I feel like it's a perfect place to start it too, because you've got all those different skill sets and kind of like microcosms of the hunting industry, all represented here, represented well. And like we were saying before we started this, like my vision for Huntstock, like 5-year plan, is like to have it be a cross between the Woodstock for hunting, which is where the Huntstock name came from, the Woodstock festival for the hunting industry, minus all the drugs and stuff.
Yeah, this will be a little more tame. It won't burn down in the end.
And then like mix it with the Burning Man of the hunting world, where sponsors and the entertainers themselves kind of like get behind building out a sweet section of a festival that they can like claim as their own. It's like, oh, the Outdoor Drive guys, you see what they did this year? They had this, you know what I'm saying? And then like, oh, backcountry hunters and anglers, they're owning like the Western style base camp section. So they could like start to expand that. And like, you have these mini festivals for each niche represented at Huntstock, and where the sponsors and the entertainers and the festival, you know, you take pride in building that up, and that just elevates the entire experience. And that's what things like the old shows are kind of missing. It's just a row of booths and a lot of booths that you just want to avoid and get away from. And that's like that's where I see Huntstock being different.
And I think the cool thing too is like some of the living legends that you're going to have at the show. I mean, that's something that you strive on yourself, is some of those living legends, and some of the people that have never, you know, now are like the biggest deal around. I mean, like your Hal Bloods and your, you know, CT Carl and all those guys. I mean, like they're all going to be there, like guys that like we all look up to from the Northeast.
Yeah. And just from the Big Woods Bucks team alone, there's so much freaking knowledge there. And so many legends just within that group. And that's just one group of hunters that's coming to Huntstock.
And they're going to do seminars and stuff there also, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They're doing their podcast live each day. And a lot of their guys are doing seminars. Hal Blood's doing 2 seminars. Timmy Bolduck's doing 2. Rick Labby and Jeff Paradis are teaming up and doing 2. And we're going to release the schedule sometime in July. I'm going to have the programming whole schedule released out to everybody. And I was just working on it before this anyway, so I can actually go down through like Friday. What we got right now on there is opens up with Rick Labby and Jeff Paradis from Big Woods Bucks doing a seminar. Then the Big Woods Bucks podcast live right after that with Hal Blood, Joe Cruzy, and they'll have some kind of a guest. Then my podcast will be live right after that. Then tentatively, there's a really, really tremendously good suburban hunter who has like 5 state records in the Northeast in his state that is checking his schedule to see if he can come. And I've got him tentatively slotted in there after my podcast. That dude he's got a wall full of bucks, like 50 of them that he's killed in just the last 10 years, because he's in the state where you get a lot of tags.
Nice.
Then you got Just Hunt Club's Brett Joy is going to be doing a seminar after that, and then finishing up with Joe Judd, who you might know who he is. I don't know. Turkey hunters know him. I actually didn't know him before this, but he's going to do an advanced turkey hunting seminar after that. Then the outdoor stage, we've got Crossbow Hunting Podcast live, Neil Pendleton and Jake Trickett doing a seminar out there, Jeff Doyle doing a seminar on e-scouting. And then 3 open slots that we're going to fill there. Saturday, you're going in, you got Northeast Hunt and Film Podcast live, then Jeff Doyle, then Big Woods Bucks, Timmy Bolduck, then Brett Joy again, Hunt Suburbia Podcast, then Hal Blood's doing his tracking seminar, then that other suburban killer that might be coming will slot in right there. And then it ends with Big Woods Bucks doing a live podcast again. And then the outdoor stage has, 10 that day. And it's just, it's back to back to back. There's stuff for everybody. I'm trying to actually like plan the programming so that if there's like a big woods tracking seminar happening on the indoor stage, that same time outside is something different for people who aren't interested in like big woods tracking. Like I try to make sure that there's not two tracking things going on at the same time on different stages. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So all of that planning goes into the back of it. I just got off the phone with Mass Wildlife to see what they were going to do. And they're going to teach a learn to hunt class and a learn to scout class each day. That's kind of for beginners and more like for kids. They're going to be doing that from their booth every day. And then they're actually doing how to butcher a deer demonstrations from beginning to end. They're getting a deer from a farm and they're going to do a whole butcher class for people who really want to learn how to butcher their own deer. And then we're probably going to cook some of that deer right there on site, you know?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
I like it.
So, you know, there's just millions of things. I was talking with a Native American tribe who's a listener to the podcast, and he reached out, and I've always had the vision to have a Native American component to this thing because the history there with archery and hunting, and especially in the Northeast, there's such a really rich history of Native Americans. And they're going to try to get people to come out and teach stuff on like Native American culture and how archery and hunting, what their culture is like and what they're passing down. So there's just like a million things going on at once. A venison popper cooking competition. One of my sponsors is like, yo, can we do a venison popper competition? And, you know, can we line up some judges? And I was like, sure, man, you plan everything and we'll put it on the program, dude. Like,
that's
so
awesome.
that'll be going on. And yeah, man, just a million things.
That's so cool, man. Like, and it sounds like you need a 3-day pass to this thing because you're going to have to be there all 3 days to keep up with what's going on because you're going to miss out.
Yeah. Yep.
Those guys that have the fear of missing out, they're definitely going to miss out. There's no doubt about that.
I know it. And it's in such a tough, it's in August, which is another thing I wanted to do differently because a lot of shows are right in the spring or winter after, you know, January, February, March. I wanted, you know, people to get together in the summer when the weather's nice and like right before we start to get crazy about hunting.
Right. Get them all amped up and prepared.
Yep, exactly. But it's a lot of people's anniversary weekends and people got vacations and stuff. But I think that's just a symptom for this year. And I think once they see what happened at Huntstock, you know, people are going to start having their anniversaries.
Yeah, it'll be a vacation destination.
It's definitely an important thing, though, because like that time of year, like you have a ton of demonstrations of products and so on and so forth where these people can get that stuff ready for the season, where a lot of the other shows, like you said, February and stuff, it's after the season. They've already gone through their hunting. Like now it's right in their face. Like, okay, now's the time for you to get your stuff and get things going and practice, you know, because like when it's in their face, it's a totally different thing. Like anybody could be like, yeah, you know, I need to get new sticks, but I don't know, I might not order them, you know, but if they're right there in front of you, you're going to order them right then and there. Or, you know, guys like us, you know, that are podcasting, we can get people pumped up about the season and kind of get that thing up and running and knowing what they're doing. It's just a perfect time for this.
And for podcasters too, like, first of all, for people who haven't heard, and if you have a podcast or a YouTube page, the booths are free. We want anybody who's a content creator, even if you're just thinking you don't even have a podcast yet, but you're starting it and you want to launch it at Huntstock, like reach out to me. We will find room for you. And it's great for podcasters because there's going to be so many great hunters in one location. Like you have all your guests that you could ever possibly want to interview there. So it's all about you being a good networker and going to meet, you know, one of the Big Woods Bucks guys or whoever you want to have on your podcast. You have access to like all these tremendous guests. So you can like record 8-10 episodes, whatever, if you're on your grind there and build up a backlog of a lot of really good guests. So I think that's one thing to point out. And then, yeah, dude, we're all procrastinators. So, like waiting to gear we're waiting to gear up, dude. So like in August, you're a few weeks out. I think it's going to be a big time to get new gear. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is it's being held not on purpose, but on Massachusetts tax-free weekend, which apparently is a big thing here where people wait to buy big ticket items on tax-free weekend because you save like the 7% sales tax or whatever. So people buying bows, people buying, saddle kits and things like that, you can save some good money at Huntstock because you don't have to pay taxes, and a lot of those brands will be there.
Nice. Oh, that's pretty cool that you planned it like that.
People told me like, dude, that's gonna hurt you, and I'm like, I don't know, and probably next year I won't do it on the same weekend because I just don't know, but we'll see. Maybe it is a great thing.
So what are some of the products that are going to be there that people can look forward to seeing or be able to put their hands on?
Yeah, let me go to a sponsor tab. So I'll just go down the list. We've got Hunt of a Lifetime is coming. They're a great nonprofit. So that'll be something to support while you're there. Josh Durant, Wildlife Art. He's just like an incredible painter. He's going to have a bunch of his deer oriented art there for sale. Fifth Season Outfitters. They're the company that's going to be doing the venison popper cooking competition, but they're just like a lifestyle apparel brand for the outdoors. Birch Boys Chaga, it's a Chaga tea company who's also they're big trappers and hunters out in the Adirondacks. For gear though, you got like Stagger Gear is a brand new company that people are excited about. They are making affordable gear for big woods hunters in the Northeast. So they've got like new capes coming out, blaze orange capes to go over whatever you got for wool. Because that was something that a lot of people in the industry, I guess, were clamoring for. So they got capes. They got 3 different styles of nice gloves. I've tried the gloves on. They're awesome. But it's a new brand, and there's quite a bit of excitement around that. So you'll be able to see their gear, feel it, try it on, and get some. You've got Big Woods Bucks unveiling their entire new wool line there. So they've got their new wool fanny packs that people have been, the next version of it, people have been waiting for. The jackets and pants. They've got gloves, so they'll have all their gear there to try. Hunt Light is a new saddle brand out of New Hampshire. They'll be there with their saddles, teaching saddle classes, letting people get up in the saddles. Same thing with Wild Edge, of course. They're going to be there doing their teaching trains and getting people up in their saddles. Hang Free is a saddle brand out of Florida. They're coming up all the way from Florida. They're a brand new company too. So again, get your hands on their saddles and try them out. So there's going to be a lot of different saddle brands. If you're really interested in saddle hunting, you can learn a lot from each of these companies. They all do something a little bit differently. And their saddles are a little bit different. Climbing methods are a little bit different. So, it'll be an awesome chance to like learn more about saddle hunting. And checking out those different products. Talk Painted Arrow Outdoors. They make for guys like me, like to self-film, and I like jerry-rigged my phone to my bow last year and got some good footage that way. These guys made like a magnetic attachment that goes on your stabilizer. It's like the non-jerry-rigged version that looks freaking awesome. So for people who film, they're going to have that product there on display. Easton is, like I said, sponsoring the course, but they're going to have reps there and they're giving away a bunch of FMJ arrows too. Hoyt isn't 100% confirmed yet, but I'm thinking it's going to be. It's like 95%. They're going to be there with bows to try out a bunch of different bows. There'll be somebody from Reedy's there with a bunch of different bows to try out. There's a new camo company, WTF Camo, that'll be displaying their new camo pattern and their products. Just a bunch of stuff, man. Woodman Arms, Sherman Cookers.
So you got a whole slew of different things, from saddle hunting to cooking products, and so a little bit of everything for everybody. Yeah, and like I said from the beginning, it's got to all relate back to hunting. So it's like the outdoor cookers, those guys. It's a campfire. It's a campfire cooking over an open flame product geared for hunters and the outdoorsmen, right? You mean that there's not going to be a hunting product and then the next thing over is gutters?
Yeah, exactly. No gutters, no windows and doors.
No chamois rod rags?
Yep. Yeah.
No socks? What do you mean, no
man.
socks?
No socks. There could be socks. Darn tough for somebody like that. We don't have anybody locked in yet, but no novelty socks.
No novelty socks. No Donald Trump socks.
Not
Patrick's
yet.
not making his.
Not
Pat's
yet.
not making his debut.
I am bringing Donald Trump socks. I still have a couple hundred of them. So
You can mark me
I wanna
down
get
for a
through 'em.
couple pairs. I'll definitely buy a couple pairs. So make sure that everybody's going to come from all over just to get the Donald Trump socks while they're there.
Oh man, when you see those things, you're 100% you're 100% getting some.
I saw them in Springfield. They're something
I did
special.
have some, didn't I?
Yeah, you gave them to Jonathan from what was he from? Heated Hunts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Remember you gave him a pair of them?
Yep. Yeah, I've been talking with him too to see. I think he's looking at schedule if he could find somebody to come and man a booth.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool little product. There's a ton. So you have a good. Well, the nightlife must be good. All those guys in town, good groups of guys.
Definitely. Wachusett Brewery is like right there. It's like 2 miles from the farm, so I'm sure people will kind of like gravitate there for after parties and stuff.
Have you warned them?
Sounds good.
You may want to warn them.
Yeah, the farm has a relationship with them, and I think they know because they're lending like their beer trailer and stuff, their refrigerator trailer to them for the event. So they know
that
about
the
it.
guys are in town.
Yeah.
So where's a good place for guys to get tickets, and is there a website or what do you have going on?
Yeah, the easiest way is to go to my Instagram at Hunt Suburbia, and I have a link tree set up there in my bio. So you click on that, and then there's the first thing is Huntstock tickets. It'll take you to Ticket Leap, which is hosting the online sales, but you can also, if you're a procrastinator, you can buy tickets, the weekend of right at the gate. And the one caveat is that we're capped at 2,000 people. So once 2,000 people come in, and if they do, that would be awesome. I don't think Friday we have any worry about that. Probably not Sunday, but we could. Again, it's the first year. I don't really know, but Saturday is the one that will sell out if it does. So at least get on and buy your ticket. If you really want to be there Saturday, when most, it'll have the most programming. Every day is going to have awesome stuff going on. Every day it'll be 3D archery you can shoot. There will be door prizes. Actually, Friday and Sunday are probably the best days for door prizes because there will be less people. Your chances will be better to win door prizes. And we're doing some of the bigger items like the e-bike will be on Sunday and the Woodman Arms is on Friday. Like some of the bigger items will be on Fridays and Sundays. But if you really want to be there Saturday, I would definitely get your tickets online and reserve them.
And you're not going to be able to use our promotional code and save a little bit anyways if you buy them
at the door. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to save any money by doing that. So you got to get them ahead of the time. And of course, we'll put the link in the bottom here so that everyone can kind of go there too from there and kind of check that stuff out.
Awesome.
Now,
it'll definitely be fun.
You're doing something, and I'm reverting back a little squirrel moment. You're doing something different with your 3D range. It's not just a standard 3D shoot, and I think it's probably one of the coolest ideas I've seen come in the 3D world in a long time. So you want to run us through what you're doing there? It makes it really fun.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. So it's just a little twist where we wanted to change scoring, the scoring. And if you are into 3D shooting and it's your hobby, and I know there's a lot of guys that take it super seriously, you can still score the traditional way. Have fun doing that. That's fine. But I'm introducing a different scoring system that is scored like golf. So like your typical 12 ring, would be an eagle in golf, which is -2 off of your score. So your goal is to get the lowest score, not the highest score. It's the same thing, but just a different fun way of doing it. So the 12 ring is -2. The 10 ring is a birdie, which would be -1 off your score. The 8 ring is a par. It's like, all right, you've done what you're supposed to do. You got to hit that 8 ring, like just in golf.
Yeah.
You're supposed to par everything. So that's kind of like your level set. And then if you hit the target outside any of the rings, then it's a bogey. You add 1 to your score. And if you completely miss, you add 2. So you want to kind of be under par at the end with a negative score. And yeah, like I said, you can score it the way you want to, but it's going to be set up kind of like a golf scorecard. And it's 20 targets. So there's a front 9 and a back, or a front 10 and a back 10, like golf, except golf is 9 and 9.
Well, you got to be a little different.
Exactly.
Patrick, he's always got to be different, no matter what.
What it's that if I had one more hole, I could have beat him.
Yeah.
Well, now you get 2. And this is probably the first chance most of us will ever have at getting a good golf score.
Truth to that. Truth
exactly,
to that.
dude. Yeah, your first eagle will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like another thing that I'm kind of working up, I don't know if it's going to work out or not yet, is so the farm doesn't want, and rightfully so, drinking alcohol before you go on the course. So when you come to Huntstock and you buy a 3D archery, if you want to shoot the course, we're going to give you a wristband that you have to show to the starter when you shoot. And if you go to the bar, they're going to cut the wristband off. Like the first, if you have one and you get your first drink, they're cutting it off. So if you show up, try to make that the first thing that you do. But also with my sponsorship hat on, there's a company called Athletic Brewing, and it's a non-alcoholic beer that's way cooler and way better than O'Doul's. And they make like IPAs and like really good craft stuff that tastes great. Like I actually drank some at a Super Bowl party last year because I had to drive back, and before that I was like, I'll never drink this, but it was awesome. It tastes just like beer. I was still like had the social aspect. So I'm trying to get them to be a sponsor of the 3D course, because you can't drink alcohol, but at the start we'll give you a can of Athletic Brewing. So you actually get a cold beer, even though it doesn't have alcohol in it. It does taste like it does, trust me. And then at the turn, to get another one into your hand. So I'm working on that. That could be something kind of cool too.
That's
so they're
awesome.
They're going to definitely have better golf scores than.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that's why we all suck at golf.
We're going to improve your game.
We're doing this for you. This is for you. I promise you. We're going to show you what it's really like.
Oh,
that's one of those failures.
I was a golf. I can't remember if the CT Carl episode that I did just released last week, we talked about golf yet, but he used to be a big time golfer, and he became a better hunter when he quit golf. And same thing with me. And I used to golf and I liked it, but I would get too drunk out in the court. First of all, it's 5 hours of your day. You go home already hungover. It's like midday and you got this grog. It's like, what is the point of this? You know?
That's the good thing about hunting is you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. So
exactly. That's why Athletic Brewing, dude, like my pitch to get inside my mind as a sponsorship guy too. It's like my pitch to those guys is like, they focus a lot of effort right now on like athletes, which is great. You know, it's a good marketing tactic, but hunters love to drink beer. We drink a lot of beer. And the hardest thing about that is, like during the season, you can't really drink beer because you're going to be groggy. You're not getting up at 4 a.m, or you might, and you'll be super hungover. So like kind of promoting this to be your hunting season drink. And then, you know, when you get a deer and you want to celebrate, you switch over to the real stuff. But, you know, a non-alcoholic beer like marketed to hunters, I think would be genius.
Could you imagine deer camp without alcoholic beer? Guys would actually shoot shit like
exactly.
Yeah,
People would get up in the morning, get to the stand, pay attention.
There'd be a bigger deer shot.
Try being that guy that walks through the door with a bunch of non-alcoholic beer, though. You're not living that down.
You've been shunned from camp.
But honestly, but the hunting would be so much better. Like,
yeah, totally.
Do you know how many guys would shoot bigger deer and they wouldn't just like, because I've been that guy, like hung over and the first deer walks by and you're like, dude, it's getting it just so I can get out of this deer stand. Because if I don't, like, I'm screwed.
Honestly, dude, that's all people need to become better hunters. Let's just cancel Huntstock. Nobody needs to learn anything. Just stop drinking beer during the deer season. That's it. Huntstock is canceled, dude. Just do that.
If you learn anything today, it's stop drinking during deer season. Which, you know, some of us do that. I mean, like I shut it off during hunting season because
I
it's
still
just.
drink, but There's definitely times where I don't, where it's like, dude, tomorrow's the day. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, if you know you've got to get up and get out there, it ain't, a beer or two or something at dinner is fine, but, you're not getting cranked.
Yeah.
My friends hate me during deer season because they're like, what do you mean you're not coming to play pool with us or play darts or whatever? I'm like, bro, I gotta be up at like 3 a.m. Like, there's no way that I'm coming to the bar. Like, that's what I'm saying. That non-alcoholic beer, dude, I'll be a Superman. I love it. I think it would be the greatest thing ever, dude. I would love it. That's such a great idea.
Dude, it tastes just like a real hazy IPA too, and they've got a bunch of different flavors, and I do love it. I think it's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so they could be there to Huntstock too. Never know. Oh, another unique thing too, because I gotta freaking think 5 years ahead. But I was like, wouldn't it be cool if Huntstock 2027, like the 5th year, the design for the shirts that I'm making and for stickers and stuff has a big mature buck on it, and then it has a yearling buck with just 1 point coming out of it because it's the first annual Huntstock. So like next year, the second annual Huntstock, he'll be a spike, and he gains a point every single year. So you got like this kind of continuity that flows throughout even like the merch of Huntstock. So like 10 years from now, you can go back and go, man, I got that first shirt, that first sticker. And like, now look at this, the buck's grown up, and it's like seeing the progression, I just feel like would be cool because I'm super into like collectibles and shit too. So I always think like, what would be cool for people to have one version of every year as like kind of like a collectible.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Thought. So are those, is the merch and stuff on sale, pre-sale now?
No, it's not on pre-sale, but it'll all be there and ready at Huntstock. And so everybody coming into Huntstock with your ticket, with your entry, you get one door prize ticket. But for every $20 you're going to spend in the Huntstock merch, you're going to get more tickets. So like you can show up and be like, similar to what a normal raffle is like, you spend $100, you get a sleeve of tickets. You're going to be able to earn more tickets by buying merch and by shooting the 3D course. Everybody who shoots the 3D course will get an extra ticket to the door prizes too. So that's just another little thing to think about.
So is there prizes with the 3D shoots, or is it so you get wrapped up into the door prizes by shooting the 3D shoot?
Yeah, you just get an extra ticket into the normal door prize by shooting a 3D shoot. Maybe in future years we'll have, I didn't want the 3D course to be super competitive. I want it to be a fun thing people can go do, introduce this golf scoring to it. We will release like leaderboards and stuff at the end of it. So people who actually take it seriously and, get a little bit of shine. We'll promote the leaderboards, and we'll keep stats over the years on people's scores. And so like 10 years from now, I'm a stat guy too. Like 10 years from now, I'll be able to see, people's stats at the Huntstock Open. And maybe it'll turn into having some, prizes and prize money or something in the future. But as you can see, there's so many freaking moving parts right now, and I'm not a one-man show, but Pat Burns is my partner in this thing, and he's helping out with a lot of the stuff. But because I have the event experience, like there's so many things to work on. I was just like, I don't want to add that to the list of coming up with, what the top shooters get and how to display, the leaderboards and make sure that people are, I don't know that part of 3D. How do you keep people honest and, make it official?
You can only keep people honest when they're honest.
Yeah, honest people can stay honest. Yeah. Is there an additional cost to shooting the 3D course?
Yep, $25.
Okay. Yep. And what we didn't even ask, but what is the cost for even Huntstock?
Yep, it's $40 for a day pass. It's $80 for the 3-day pass. Oh. And that gets you into everything, and it gets you
buy
everything.
2 get 1 free.
Yep, essentially. Yeah, because I knew a lot of people would just want Saturday, Sunday, and wouldn't be able to make Friday. So instead of doing a 1-day pass, a 2-day pass, and a 3-day pass, and making a 3-day pass $120, and just incentivize people to get the 3-day pass and get 3 days for the price of 2, essentially.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I like it, dude. I'm excited, man. You got me all jacked up. I mean, I've been jacked up about it, but like I'm like,
yeah, we've been planning and getting all ready to go, and how are we going to do this and that, and I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, man, I'm getting amped about it. I thought I would be feeling super stressed, but I'm really not. The one thing I was stressed about was getting enough targets for the 3D course, but Easton Delta Mackenzie came through in a big way there and took, I had 5 targets, acquired, ready to go. And they came in and helped out in one big swoop with the rest of the targets. So that was a big weight off my back. And now everything is working out final details, tinkering, cutting some lanes on the 3D course, working on, the audio setups for the stages and making sure people have projectors or a way to display their seminars if they're doing PowerPoints and things like that. Just little details that are all coming together here in the last month.
That's awesome, man. That's absolutely great. And do you want to drop the address, kind of where it's going to be and so on and so forth, just so guys kind of know?
Yeah, man. It's at a beautiful farm called Wildwood Farm. And the address is 50 Woods Road, Westminster, Massachusetts. So it's an awesome farm. The family is great. They've been awesome to work with. And like I said, it was a listener to my podcast who reached out, and that just, that makes it feel more like family. It's not like I'm, going, although, ski resorts are awesome, but that kind of gives it a disconnected feel a little bit too. Yeah. Whereas the farmer and the family are fans of the podcast and they want us all to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I think it's going to be unique, dude. And that's a
huge camaraderie aspect of it too, though, because it more feels like, you want to be there than you're kind of forced to be there, especially on you. It's probably a little weight taken off your shoulder by doing something like that with somebody like that. Yeah,
100%. They've made it very easy to plan things. And, it's also like they want to get into the event business on their farm too and host more events there in the future. So us meeting up, like doing this event together, is going to benefit them too. It's a test drive for their farm as a venue for events in the future. Pat and I are going to put together, recap videos and special marketing videos for the farm too, so they can take that after and say, look at this awesome festival we did, Huntstock Super. This is, check out this little reel, and they can use that to attract more events to come to their farm. So it's like everything, you guys know, you're really good at it, Trevor. It's you got to have reciprocity. Yeah. Like, you wash my back, I wash yours, and it's all. That's what networking is, and that's what being a good contributor to our industry is like. It's like make introductions and help out here and there, and karma comes back in a big way.
You have to you definitely have to give more than you take. And I think a lot of people, don't do that. And I think it's something that the industry needs more of. And I think it's one of the cool things with kind of our younger generation that have kind of started to step up to the plate, is that we have a different outlook than some of these old grouchy guys. I know, like, in the fishing world, it's a big thing, because like us young guys are gung ho about it and want to be there and want to be doing that. And these guys are it's just a job to them. And like, we don't think like that. And I don't think that we'll ever think like that, because we have that pride and we want to give back to everybody that gives to us. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, as podcasters, you guys probably know, you get people reaching out all the time that sometimes it doesn't feel like you're doing that much. It's like, man, I'm pressing record. I'm talking about things that I love to talk about. So it doesn't feel like it's working. But then you have people that reach out, like that Native American dude that reached out to me and was just like, man, I love your podcast and I'm learning so much from it. And he just says, I want to take a walk with you in the woods sometime and go on a scout. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, I'm down for that. Like, after Huntstock, sometime in September, let's go take a walk in the woods. And anybody who wants help like that, like just reading a piece of woods or something, like, reach out, man. If I have time, I'm happy to come in and look at a piece with you. But it's crazy how you don't realize how much you're actually doing until people sending you messages and saying, dude, this has really helped me out, and I appreciate what you're doing, giving us entertainment. And that's what feels really good, man.
Have you had one of those crazy moments where like it kind of all set into you, like the reason why you're doing everything that you're doing?
It's for me, I think I'm gonna have that moment more as my kid grows up and I get to share the outdoor experiences with him. But it's just like every time I get a message like that where someone's like, dude, your tactics or one of your guest tactics that were on the podcast like led me to get this buck, and this is awesome. This is my first deer, and like I heard that a dozen times every season from somebody who's like, this deer, like I can relate it back to a tactic in this podcast, and that feels freaking awesome.
It is really cool to be part of these guys' lives. I mean, everybody, all the supporters that constantly listen in and stuff, like, when they reach out and they're like you said, I mean, I shot this deer, or I went above and beyond and did this hunt. I mean, we do a lot of travel hunting. So like guys are like, oh man, I can't believe how in reach this is to go and do this public land hunt in such and such a state. Like if you didn't go and do it and bring it to my eyes, I would have never gone and done it. So like you've put people into a different realm that they've never thought that was even possible to do.
Step out of their comfort zone. They hear it's possible. They hear a regular person go out and do it, and they go, hey, I can do it too. And that's the thing, is getting people to realize that anybody can do this. You got to do it. Sometimes you just need some inspiration. And if we're your inspiration, sadly, I'm sorry.
Yes.
But glad we did it.
Oh, yeah, like that. That reminds me of something. What was it? I was going back and reading the Lanny Benoit comments from that. That's definitely the most successful podcast that I did, was that 3-part series with him, and reading some comments on there. Like one guy was like, you guys inspired me to go out this morning. I wasn't going to go out. This inspired, like I watched this last night. I went out and I killed a buck this morning. Thank you. It was like, they picked you were the reason they actually went out and hunted, and everybody says it, and it's so true though. If you're hunting with buddies and you get, maybe I'm blessed to have more time to get out into the woods than a lot of people and scout and learn the woods. So, and I know most people don't get the opportunity to spend nearly as much time as I can. And I love being able to put friends on deer if I can, or get them in a situation where they can get one. So 2 years ago, I got my friend Evan and Chris and my dad each got deer from places I put them in. And those all felt amazing. It feels like you got those deer. If you're sharing it with them, it's like you're just as happy as if you got that deer. And that's how you feel when people are reaching out on the podcast too. It's like you're, in a sense, you're kind of a guide for them too. And it really makes all the time worth it. I don't know how much video editing you guys have been getting into, but that is a big pain. But
I'm very deep down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's Steven's world, man. Steven doesn't say much on the podcast, not much social media, but the video aspect of it, forget it, bro.
I'm here on the background. I do some production work, some editing. That's where I sit. I'm just here for
Steven's
a comedic
world,
interjection.
Are you using do you use Adobe Premiere Pro or what?
Yeah, I'm a Premiere guy.
Yep.
It's a deep,
I started using
dark hole. You figure out one thing and you go, crap, I need to know 3 other things to be able to do it right. Yeah,
dude, take like Pat Burns, who's the man. He's been editing videos this whole life, and he does a lot in like the music video space and stuff. But he told me to get a Premiere when I first started like wanting to do video. He's like, all right, just fork out the cash for Adobe Premiere.
Yep.
It's the best there is. And he came over and gave me, he helped me edit that Lanny Benoit series, and like all of his 10 years of knowledge or whatever it is in video editing, like he gave me a 1 hour rundown, and I've been using whatever he taught me that day since. And it's like another thing. It feels like there's huge barrier to entry, like hunting, but it really, if you can get a download of knowledge from somebody who has so much experience, and you can get that download in a podcast or in 1 hour of whatever, watching a YouTube video, it really makes that barrier to entry,
absolutely
much, much smaller.
And that's one thing with podcasting, or, you know, some of these outlets like YouTube and so on and so forth, like guys like us that had been hunting or been blessed to hunt our entire lives, like we kind of take for granted some of those things, and we've had to learn them by ourselves. There was never YouTube, or, you know, we had to read a book, or we had learned from somebody before us, you know, some of the legends that we look up to, like those kind of guys. But podcasts and stuff, you're light years ahead of a lot of people that didn't have that before. So they're in a different world, like whether it's editing film and you can look on YouTube, or it's tuning a bow or tracking a big deer, early season, late season. Like there wasn't podcasts when we had started. Like it was a trial and error. Like it wasn't that long ago.
You learned to win via losing.
Yes. and you're light years ahead. And that's one of the benefits of us. Like we get to share that information, that, you know, our screw ups, so that people don't make those same mistakes. Like, and it's cool to see that. And, you know, that's the benefit of podcasting and the friends that we meet along the way. I mean, some of our, you know, our supporters are some of my best friends that I talk to every day. I talk to them. I mean, well, they're in our realm, you know, because we are those weird guys at parties that are sitting in the corner and like, oh, someone want to talk hunting with me? Like, I don't have anybody else to talk to.
My friend group has totally changed since I started the podcast, and I've just met so many awesome people. And like you've heard before, you know, you are a sum of your 5 best friends. Like your personality, your drive, everything, you're a sum of your 5 best friends that you spend the most time with. So if you got 3 dirtbags in that group, you know, you're going to be 60% dirtbag, right?
Exactly.
So that's why you take that whole philosophy with who you surround yourself in a friend group. But then you have it in hunting. Like I'm the sum of the 5 best hunters that now I'm nowhere near as good as them. But if you surround yourself around really good hunters, and that's what podcasts can help you do, then you level up pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
And
absolutely.
I love that part of it.
Yeah, you definitely have to hang out with people that are better than you. Like that's my goal, is to hang out with people that are better deer hunters than me, or socialize with people that are better, because it only makes you a better deer hunter or fisherman or outdoorsman, or you learn from those things.
And going back to golf, like we talked about earlier, one thing I've learned is you can use this in golf. If you're playing with good players, you play better. If you're playing with horrible players, you play like crap. I don't care who says what, but if I'm playing with guys that are shooting 110, I'm shooting over 100. If I'm shooting with guys that shoot 80s, I'm breaking 100. It's
that's the same with whitetails. Exactly. If the guys around you are shooting 160s, I'm sure as hell not going to shoot 100 inch.
Yeah, you're going.
Like it's just not going to happen, right?
And they're going to help you do it. But if you're with guys that are shooting spikes every year, guess what? You're going to be shooting.
Yep.
Well. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm just saying, like you said, you are a reflection of the people you surround yourself with.
Absolutely. Because you learn from those people. And that's one good thing about podcasting and hanging out with even good podcasters, because you'll learn and you can bounce off those people like Pat. Like Pat helped you do the video editing. I mean, that's in your wheelhouse and in your circle, man. So
yeah. And Chris Stalty from Big Woods Bucks, you know, gave me the quick rundown on podcasting and what equipment to buy, and showed me like some tricks on audio editing. Like, you know, like exactly, like I learned from him, and he shared that knowledge to me. And then I've been able to share it with a few people. You know, Jason Alex started the Northeast Hunt and Film, and I talk with the Stagger guys a lot, who started a pretty awesome podcast, you know, up out of Vermont. And like you want to be generous with sharing anything. And in the podcast industry, is like, I don't look at anybody as a competitor, because I never even got into it thinking like, you know, it's not about that for me. It was just like, I need to do something. When I get stagnant in my life, I got to do something. I got to start something new to challenge myself. And like, I just wanted to, I had thought about podcasting for years and doing one. And I was just like, man, it's COVID. Like, what's your excuse? So I got on and just like bought like $800 worth of equipment. And once you do that, It's that feeling like when you buy a gym membership, like if you buy an expensive gym membership, you feel like you have to go do it now or you're wasting that money. And it was like, I knew
Exactly.
like, all right, I'm going to throw $800 into this podcast and I'm just going to freaking do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know anything about audio editing. I don't know what a hosting site is or an RSS feed and all that stuff, but you learn it. You just start it and then you learn along the way. And look
at you now. Now you got Huntstock.
Yeah, and who would have ever thought like the podcast would be the catalyst to like an idea like Huntstock that could turn into something awesome. And you just don't know. You don't know where it's going to go when you start on a journey. But that's what makes it fun and exciting.
That's
100%.
amazing, man. I really like it. Well, I guess we can go down another rabbit hole real quick. And one of the questions that, you've already answered this question once, but I'll ask again, man. Pat, what drives you outdoors, man? What gets you out there?
For me, it's 100% white-tailed deer right now. It's like I'm obsessed with white-tailed deer and the fact that every single one is different. They got different personalities. They grow different headgear, and I'm obsessed with just figuring them out. And that's what's driving me out right now.
I like it.
You've got that bad itch.
Game of chess.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
I can make.
You've been chasing one for a while.
Yeah.
You had that one buck that you were chasing last year that disappeared and then showed back up again this year, right?
Yeah, there was. Well, the buck that I call the Austin buck, when my son's name is Austin, and it was either the day or 2 days before he was born. I went to check a camera, and the first time I'd ever saw him, I jumped him out of a bed, and we had a stare down for about a minute and a half, and he was just beautiful, majestic, and at that point, it was like, wow, he is a giant buck. And now, after 2 years of experience, I've seen a lot of bigger bucks than him, but at that moment, he was the biggest buck I'd seen like that close in person. I just had an awesome connection with him. And then my son was born, and that year he was probably like a high 120s 8-pointer. And then last year he was probably 135 8-pointer. And I've never seen him in the season. I've only seen him in few spots, and both spots you can't hunt. They're just camera spots for me to have inventory. And I got to figure out where he goes during the season on huntable land. So I'm trying to piece that together. And I saw him this year, early June. He's looking like he's growing awesome rack. And then that video that I posted the other day on Instagram, I thought was him, actually isn't. I've like analyzed it, and it's definitely not him. He's got a different rack, this 8-pointer that I saw the other day checking the camera. This rack goes out wider. He's got different brow tines further apart. And the Austin buck goes high and tight. So I haven't seen him since early June to see what he looks like now with headgear, but I'm definitely going to be hunting him this year.
That's awesome. It's a bad addiction, man, to watch them grow and get where they got to be and get on them. I think it's crazy. One of the benefits you have in Massachusetts is that if it's not posted, you can hunt it, right?
Yep. The state law is if the land isn't posted, then you can hunt it. There are different towns you got to be careful around, because a lot of towns, especially closer to Boston, will have town bylaws that won't allow you to, so that supersedes the state law, according to a lot of people. So you just got to be careful in some towns.
That makes sense.
That's totally different, man.
Pat, real quick, where can everybody one more time find you and find the information as well as where they can buy their tickets? Yeah.
Find me at Hunt Suburbia on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It's all at Hunt Suburbia. The Instagram has the link tree, which you can get to my subscribe to the podcast. It'll link out to the YouTube page and link out to the tickets. So just find me on Instagram and follow me there. And please, if anybody wants to send an email or talk about anything, like email me at huntsuburbia@gmail.com. I reply to every single person. And yeah, man, I'm just super happy to be a part of this industry that I never thought I would be a part of. And it's fun. It's rewarding. Thank you guys for having me on. You guys have been awesome. And like I said, like Trevor, you've been great at introducing me to a bunch of people too. And I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait to see you at Huntstock.
Me too, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Guys, I can't tell you enough how important it is to support it, especially if you're in the Northeast. But it'll be really cool to see some folks come out from the Midwest, from the West, from the South. You know, let's really mix it up. So I highly encourage you all to get on there, get some tickets, come up and check out this show, because it's going to be one of a kind. It's not going to be like any outdoor show you've ever been on. So I will leave it at that. And until then, guys, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.